So we're going to talk about investment, making your money work for you. Whether you were like Marcus, whether you're £100,000 in debt right now, or whether you've got large funds of money available to you. Let's find out what we can learn from Marcus. So Marcus, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm excited.
Good. Good to have you on the show today. And we just found out we're the same age, which was interesting.
We're young.
We're looking good on it, I reckon. Ask the wife that question later.
What else can we say? I mean, we have to say that.
Yeah. So tell her, where do you? You've got an accent, slight accent to your English. Where do you originate from? Where do you?
Some people think I'm South African or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not. So my mum's German. My father is half Italian, half Greek Cypriot, and I was born in Germany. And then we travelled around, and then it was basically England. So my whole education has been here. And it's interesting because people do say, "Where are you from?" I'm not South African.
Just a little bit that South African, isn't it? Just a little, little glimpse. I
don't mind that. I don't mind that. They're good people.
Yeah, definitely. I'm from the north of England, and people don't realise it until I say love or Bath, and then they realise that I've still got a bit of that in me.
Exactly. Certain words you go, where are you from? Yeah, it's interesting.
So do you live in the UK now then?
Yeah. I live in the UK. I've lived here all my life, really. I came over when I was 4 years old, had my education here, everything, further education. But then I did go back just to study. I studied a year in Paris, a year in Berlin, and other, lived in other countries. I was an au pair in Paris, actually, for a year. That was hilarious. And the woman looked at me and she said, but you are a man. And I said, well, what's the job description? I think I can pretty much do everything. I mean, unless there's something else, and I reckon I could do that as well. So anyway, she hired me. So it was good.
So you were looking after children?
Yeah, 2 kids. Yeah, they're lovely. I went back there just the other year just to see whether I could locate them again, but I just couldn't remember the address because I was 18 at the time, and I just couldn't. And it really annoyed me. I really wanted to see what became of them. Yeah.
So did you settle into a career then fairly quickly, or were you doing other things?
Oh my goodness, I didn't want to work. I was having way too much fun, and so I just kept studying and pushing it out as long as I think I started work at the age of 28, which has got to be some kind of a record. So after school, I took a year out, and then during university, I took a year out. After university, I took a year out. Then I went to further education. I took the longest course I could possibly find, which was 3 years. And then I took another half a year out. And then by that stage, I was massively in debt because if you don't really focus on the money, how amazingly enough you don't get more of it. And so I just had to get a job. So I did finally do that. Yeah, pretty late. I'm still playing catch up, I think.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you have played catch up for my introduction, anyway.
I have, but it's interesting because I have some very interesting friends, Yeah.
So was it then therefore an away motivation then to move forward, to get away from that debt, or was there a little trigger point? Was there somebody who you met?
I mean, definitely. I think both really. I think you wake up one day, or I woke up one day, and you kind of then suddenly you work out. I was actually sleeping on my brother's floor for 6 months in a bright green sleeping bag. That had been up Mount Kilimanjaro. See, I like doing all of that, but the problem is you need to also make money, And I suddenly realized, I was over £100,000 in bad debt. But by the way, bad debt. I wasn't, because you've got to distinguish. It wasn't good debt. I mean, there's people who are going to say, well, I have a lot more debt than that. I have property. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a car. I didn't have anything. And so at that stage, when you're kind of I was putting my underpants and my socks in my brother's drawer because he has to have a meeting because it's not my bedroom, it's his floor. You kind of start thinking, hold on, what's going on here? I need to do something, and I realized that it was really my thinking, and that got me into that situation, and I had to change that thinking because the thinking obviously leads to the actions, and so obviously my actions weren't great because my results were abysmal, and so therefore I had to change my thinking, and that's what I did. And I just went on every single seminar, book, loaned quite a few things. Not sure whether I returned them, but then I could, And so I tell you what I did. I surrounded myself with wealthy thinkers, or put it this way, wealthier than me, And that wasn't difficult, quite frankly, because I was 100,000 in debt. So it's not difficult, is it?
No.
Anybody has more money than that. And it does rub off, It does. It really does. You surround yourself with people who don't have money, chances are you will stay the same. You surround yourself with people, who have a little bit more money. They think slightly differently, and then it does start change because your actions start changing. And that's certainly what happened to me. And I remember celebrating when I just had nothing. I was like, yes, I have nothing. People must have thought, this guy's crazy, he has nothing. But it was better than minus 100,000.
Yeah. So I'm sort of hearing in you that, the thoughts and feelings determine your actions and your results. I'm hearing that sort of coming through in your... So you changed your thought. You surrounded yourself with wealthy people. So you didn't have any money. Was your brother wealthy, or did you join something?
He definitely did subsidize me. I have to tell you, he did subsidize me for a while. So it's kind of, if somebody's listening, say, well, I don't have a brother who can do that. But he was all on a spreadsheet. Don't worry, I had to pay him back. Don't worry about that. I think actually the tables have turned slightly. Interesting. It was. I definitely didn't do it by myself. I actually went to the first kind of real wake up. I think, having got a job and all this, was going to Tony Robbins, as many people have, I guess. But back then in '99, there were only 2,000 people. This was in Cardiff. Only 2,000. I was at the back with my arms crossed, kind of like, I think I've joined a sect here because they're all so happy. Why are they so happy? But I wasn't happy, and then he just tells you over 3 days that, you are in control of your own thoughts. And I kind of like, am I? I think, oh, God, it's day 2. Gosh, I think I could be. Day 3, I am, And then he teaches about massive action. Take massive action when you make a decision. Otherwise, it's not really a decision. So I decided to leave my job at the time because I wasn't happy at all there. And the way I did it was, back then you didn't have mobile. Well, maybe you did have. I didn't have a mobile phone, and I was standing in a queue, waiting to put my 10 pence into a public phone, and I left a message for my boss at work, and I said, listen, I need to talk to you. First thing, I need to talk to you. I was massively pumped up, Put down the phone. And then I was like, oh my God, what have I done? This is my job, but you can't, in Outlook, sometimes if you send an email, there's a way, if the person hasn't read it, you can actually, I've never managed it, but there is a way of retrieving that email just in case you said something you didn't want to do.
Okay.
Yeah. But here, I was like *5, *6, star hashtag, Anyway, the next day he said, "Oh, I got your message. You wanted to speak to me?" I said, "No, didn't. Because the pump had come down a little bit." He goes, "No, I got your message. Come on, like that." And then I plucked up the courage and I fired him, and it was the best thing I ever did.
Well, so you went on this Tony Robbins program, and you were thinking differently, you were feeling differently.
Signed up to everything on a credit card. Yeah,
on a credit card. So how did you then go from your hooray, I've got no money, to except obviously you probably went minus again when you paid for the Tony Robbins course.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you then move yourself into a situation where actually money was flowing in great abundance?
I mean, there's several ways of making money. I think the fastest way is, for me, has been a mixture of kind of investing, which isn't obvious, and it's not. I wouldn't say it is a fast way of making money for most people. Not really. And business, So for me, I started trading and investing, and I saw some really good results. Was fairly self-taught. Made a lot of mistakes. I made all the mistakes in the book, and probably invented some as well. And but I was doing well after a while, and I guess I started telling people about it, and they wanted to learn. So we set up a kind of a training business, kind of 4 years after I started. And one day, my girlfriend at the time, who then became my wife, she kind of said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She goes, "Well, why are you inviting people into our flat all the time? It's a tiny little flat, And I said, "Well, I'm teaching, And she said, "But are you doing a business?" And I just didn't want to take money out of my account, because otherwise it doesn't compound up. It's one step forward, one step back.
Yeah.
So I thought I need some money here. So basically, I started teaching just on the odd weekend and something. But then word got around, and then I said, "Yeah, I might as well do a business out of this." So kind of in tandem, honestly, it's just such hard work. teaching people and training them and educating them. It really is. But I got to love it. It's absolutely fantastic. So, I do both now. And I've been doing that. Thinking about it, somebody said, was it Muhammad Ali? I think he said that if you're doing the same thing 10 years from now, then you're a failure or something. And I realized I kind of am doing the same thing. I'm trading, I'm investing just in different things, because now obviously cryptocurrencies has come along. And that has, I have to tell you, has massively catapulted my finances even further. Because, instead of making, I just showed a group of people yesterday, one of my positions is 27,000%. And with stocks, that just doesn't happen. You're happy if you make 50, or you're delirious if you make 100. But 27,000%. So my next guy, and by the way, that's not the only one. The next one was 10,000. The one under that was 9,000. It's absolutely insane. And it's open to anybody. It really is the biggest transfer of wealth, that's what they're calling it, since the internet. And it's only, obviously, some people aren't aware of it, unfortunately, but if you are, then, at least check it out, at least do your home play. Because I was telling people in 2016, I was saying, no, it's rubbish. And somebody else, what about digital currencies? Well, come on, you can't even touch them, right? And then, but what about Bitcoin? They said, come on. And then somebody asked me, they said, okay, thank you. And then he paused and he said, okay, but why not? I didn't have an answer. And the reason I didn't have an answer is because I didn't know. And I was telling people not to get in, but I didn't know why. So I did a deep dive and I did my research. And that was very revealing.
Marcus, you should just explain. I mean, investment mastery, you've also got the your crypto club. Are you teaching all of these different modes, but cryptocurrency is one that you're particularly enjoying at the moment?
Yeah, so there's two really. It's trading and investing stock shares, and which is the same thing. One is English, one is American, and then there is the crypto club. So I have your trading club, and then I have your crypto club, and just some people they just prefer stocks and shares, and some people they prefer cryptos. But mostly people that start with stocks and shares, they then move on to cryptos because they've got the foundation, and then they say, right, now let me go and tackle this thing which just is 10 times more volatile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you, if you have 27,000 up, can you have 27,000 down?
Well, from 27,000 I can. But otherwise, no. It's just 100%. Generally, you lose 100%. Yeah. This is what I like about it, Chris. It's this risk-reward ratio that you just can't find anywhere else. And this is very important. Risking, let's say, $1 or £1 or 1%, but being able to make at least 3 is what we teach when we trade. Okay, so you risk 1 to make 3, and most people go in and they risk 1 to make 1. Which is a disaster. Yeah. It's a disaster. You can't make money that way, but nobody's ever taught them, so they just carry on for years and years as a hobby, and they never make any money. So we teach 1 to 3, but in crispos, no, in cryptos, it's 1 to 100, 1 to 1,000, 1 to 10,000. It's absolutely insane. And again, I'm not somebody special. I don't have 3 brains, and I don't quit though. That's one thing. I just keep going and until it's like, do you remember Pac-Man? My brother and I, we used to have all these, and he was naturally better than me at everything. But then I practice, with the ghosts and everything, and then I beat him, and that's just me. So I just keep going and keep going and keep going. I think there's a word for that. Determined is a positive word. There could be others.
Relentless.
But that's another good word.
Yeah. Stubborn,
pig-headed. I don't know. Yeah.
So what is a cryptocurrency then?
Well, I'd like you to imagine it in this way. If Bitcoin, because I want to not talk just about cryptocurrencies, but the blockchain as well. If you can imagine that Bitcoin is blockchain 1.0, it was the first blockchain ever invented. 2008 was the white paper. And before, the whole system, the financial system is built on somebody being in the middle. So for example, if I send you money, Chris, normally a bank or Visa card, PayPal, whatever it is, has to be in the middle. Why? Well, because otherwise it's chaos. I could send you money and I would say, have you got it? And you say, nope. And there's no proof. So somebody has to have something called a ledger where it says minus £100 from my left side and plus 100 on your side. Something or somebody has to be there in the middle. Problem is, they're cashing in, and it takes 3 to 5 days, and it's expensive. And if I were to transfer, let's say, I don't know, £10 million over to another country, the fees would be ginormous just because of the foreign exchange. And they really do kill you on the foreign exchange, right? And it's all centralized, so therefore you don't know what they're doing. They can confiscate, as they did in Cyprus in 2013. They can inflate, deflate. Basically, they control. And we saw that in 2008. That's, by the way, why the white paper came out, because when the financial crisis happened, it became clear that they didn't really care about, going, well, I'm going to say this in a nice way, losing a lot of money, and we had to bail them out, right? And I think people thought, well, enough is enough now. So they created this decentralized system, not centralized, but decentralized, where instead of there being one person in the middle of you and me, now there is 10,000 of these miners, which are literally, just imagine them being kind of high-powered computers that are doing the work. And on each one of them is the blockchain. So literally every transaction, my 100 to your, coming out of my account, minus 100 to plus 100 in yours, is everywhere. It's totally transparent. These banks can't hide things anymore. People don't realize just how much money they pay when they get slapped on the wrist. Billions every single year. And that's only when they're caught. And these are legal entities. Why are they allowed to get away with this? Well, they just pay. And then they carry on. So, and we've kind of had enough, really, because they get paid millions and millions and millions. So, for doing it, they're kind of incentivized. So basically, they transferred $10 million over the blockchain, and instead of it costing thousands, if not tens of thousands, it actually cost about $15. Now that's a game changer. But then again, hold on a moment. How long did it take? Well, it took about 4 minutes. So you suddenly, because it's all about competitive advantage. If you can offer that to your customers, then, and I'm going to say this, is no one wants to be the first, right? All the banks are like, oh no, I don't understand it. Just like I did in 2016, just like a lot of people are doing now. But then when they do it, they better do it first, because no one wants to be the first, but no one wants to be the last. So when PayPal made the decision that you can buy PayPal, that is a huge company and has millions of customers. They said you can buy Bitcoin and store it. Well, that was it. Visa card, MasterCard, they all have to follow. And Morgan Stanley made the announcement just a few weeks ago that they were going to allow, how nice of you, their high net worth individuals, those that have got 25 million or more to invest, to buy Bitcoin. Now they're sanctioning it, Right. But they're only doing it now because they can actually make money out of it. You see, before they weren't quite sure how, because the infrastructure was still being built. And now that it's built, now they can do it. And you can see actual banks. You can buy, normally you log in, you can buy, pounds, yen, euros, whatever. And suddenly it says Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and you can buy all of these. So what happens is that the supply, if it stays the same, right, and so everybody wants to get into Bitcoin, what happens to the price? Well, it just goes through the roof. But now we have a situation where, and most people don't know this, but brilliantly written into the protocol, is that every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin that's given to the miners, which then goes into the market, is halved. Not a little bit, it's halved, which means suddenly you've got a situation where you have a supply and demand challenge, because suddenly the supply is halved. But the demand is actually going up. And that is why Bitcoin went from this time last year was at $3,500. It's now at around, what is it? I'm going to tell you exactly. Hold on. Because it moves by the second. But it's now at approximately, $50,000.
Wow.
3.5 to 50,000. And by the way, a couple of days ago, it was at 61,000. So this thing is volatile. This thing is volatile.
Yeah, crikey. So it's still a good thing to get involved in. You said because of the supply and demand issue.
Yes, but, and I'm glad you asked that question, only with a strategy. People are jumping in, and I asked them, okay, so why that coin? No answer. Okay, but why did you invest that much money? No answer. Okay, where's your profit target? No idea. Okay, where are you going to get out? No idea. And if those things are missing, actually, even if one of those things is missing, you don't have a strategy. And so we teach very simple strategies. We have whole families learning them. That's my kind of goal, to have entire families. We have one family where they have 12 family members, Chris. 12. You have the grandparents, they got involved. They weren't the first to get involved. It was the parents got involved, right? And then the brothers and sisters, and then they involved their parents. And then the youngest, I think, is Amelie. She's 12 years old, and she comes and crews our events now, and she's telling people, all the guys like you, right? I'm not going to tell our age, but and they're sitting there, and she's like telling them what to do. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful.
Fantastic. So you have this whole system where you're teaching people to do this, and just Bitcoin and
Ethereum and.
So there's more than Bitcoin. There's a whole.
Well, here's the problem. There's so many scams out there. It's ridiculous. On a weekly basis, we get phone calls of people who, I thought there was a thing and I sent them money. Why did you send them money? Why would you do that? Yes, and then they said, well, I can have my money back, but only if I send a little bit more money. I'm like, why would you do that? And they prey on these people, and it's just horrible. Yes, there's around 6,000 of them. Because everybody, you've got Trump coin, stupid coin, banana coin, scam coin. In 2018, and I think it was 2017, it said scam coin, which clearly was set up. It said, we don't do anything, this is a scam, don't send any money. I think they raised a couple of 100,000. I mean, it's ridiculous. And people just jump in, they just jump in.
We had these systems online where people were buying into these things, and they were watching their money through graphs and charts, accelerate one day away, and they're all excited, and then suddenly realize there was nothing behind it, was there?
It's just a picture. Well, it happens all the time. I mean, you could name many of them. It happens all the time. People tend to forget. And that's why, I always say, just keep it simple. Like, what are the top 10 coins? What are they? Wait for a dip, put a little bit of money in. We have this calculator, and then you put how much money, you put in how much money you've got, and it tells you how much to put in. And then basically you do it. You just follow the rules. We're all about, I think people need to take control of their finances. And for some reason, finances is this, we look after our health or not. We look after our relationships or not. We look up, but finances, it's kind of weird, right? Finance, money, it's strange.
Yeah. And you and with these currencies, you can quite easily convert them back into something you can spend.
Yes, because of course you sent your fiat money over to the exchange in the first place. Fiat, of course, is anything that's not tied to an asset like it was with gold. And when that was cut, it became fiat. So your pounds, for example, or dollars, get sent to the exchange. You then exchange it for whatever you want. For example, Bitcoin is the principal kind of reserve currency, if you like. And then you buy all the other, what they call altcoins, alternative coins. And you go away, but just start with the top ones. Do your research even on the top ones, and you get in, and then you pray that it falls. Most people, they want to put money in, and they're hoping that it's going to go up, and that's great. We don't mind it going up. We'll make some profit, but I would rather that it went down so that I can do something in the trade. It's called feathering in or scaling in. So I want to scale in so that I lower my average cost so that when it does finally go up, I don't just make a large percentage, I want to make a large amount of money. So I'd rather have a small percentage gain with a large amount of money than I would, a huge percentage gain, but I have hardly put anything in. So our strategies, especially this one, is a win-win. If it goes up, it's fine, it's good. But if it goes down, that's great because I can get more in. So right now, I can tell you right now, everybody's panicking. It was at 61, then it was at 55,000, now it's at 49,000. They're panicking. I can tell you right now, my membership members are buying. They're absolutely buying. Yeah. As they did last time and the time before and the time before that. Because what's high, Chris? What's high? Is it 60,000 or was it 50,000 or 40,000? Or I bet people thought that 20,000 was high. Well, they don't anymore. I bet they thought 1,000 was high, but not anymore. It's all relative. And you don't put a lot of money in. Of your investment, start off with maybe not more than 10%.
Yeah.
You don't put it all in. Don't say, "Oh, Marcus talked about cryptos, I'm going in." What are you doing? You don't have a strategy. Stop it right now. The reason that you invest, I think, to start off with, is to learn. I have a thing, I got this from Robert Kiyosaki, which is that you don't get a job to earn money, because you're never going to get rich. I mean, I know some people earning more than $1 million a year, but you don't otherwise, generally. You get a job to learn what to do, what not to do. And then you can always decide, okay, do I want to carry on and develop this into a career rather than a job, or do I want to create my own business and create real wealth? And I think it's the same thing. You start off, and that's why we start off with a demo account. You start off with a not real account, and you practice there. You don't play there. You practice there, following the strategies. You don't just go in there and do whatever. You go in there with a strategy. Without a strategy, what's the point? Because you'll never know whether you're doing well or not. Oh, it went up, I'm a genius. No, you went up because it went up. You were lucky. Oh, I lost money. Yeah, but that's, why? You don't know why.
It's gambling, isn't it?
It's gambling.
Might as well stick it on a roulette wheel.
Might as well. Honestly, you might as well. And there's no point doing that. There's no point.
Fascinating. I'm kind of intrigued, sort of how many people do you have within the club? And
well, we have some people that have been with us for years, and I like to interview them. I had 2 interviews today. I like to do it every other week, interview people. I interviewed a guy who put in 1,000, and it's now at 100,000, and he's freaking out because for him, it's that added couple of noughts is like, what do I do? And I'm like, what do you think you should do right now? He's like, I don't know. Yes, you do. Calm down. What do you think you should do right now? And then eventually we come round to just follow the strategy because we also milk it. Well, that's called feathering out, but we milk it, you got to milk the cow. You don't never kill the cow. You don't, the biggest mistake that people make is they don't let their profits run as long as you can. The 27,000, you know how much I put in? I put 2,500 in.
Wow.
Yeah, it's worth about $500,000 now. Just that one position.
Yeah.
But if I would have sold it because, I think it's too high now, says who? Who said it's too high? Who compared to what? It's compared to your comfort zone, isn't it? So we milk it. We take off, 20%, another 20%. Every time it goes 100. I generally do it every 500 or to 1,000%.
So you've got this crypto club, but you kind of started off more with the sort of stocks and shares and those kinds of investments. I mean, we're in an unusual time in the world right now. Clearly, we've the world's in a very different place with the pandemic and just what's going on in the world globally, really, right now. How do you view stocks and shares as an investment?
Well, I kind of don't understand them anymore. I mean, obviously, I still invest in them. In my ISAs, that's a UK thing, wrap them up. In my SIP as well. And for my kids, I've wrapped things up. I started when they were 3 months old, and they're 10 and 12, and each one of them has got about £300,000 in already, which is great. So that makes me feel really good. But I want to teach them. how to do it. And I'll start them off with probably stocks and shares, buying Disney and things like that. I think the way to look at it is that at the moment, the stock market shouldn't be up as much as it is. I mean, it really shouldn't. But it is because everybody keeps pumping money into the system, which is why I like cryptocurrencies, because I think it's kind of outside of the system. So do both, always both. When somebody says, "What should I do, this or this?" My answer is always, "Well, why don't you do both?" Well, you start off with one, but do the other one as well, because then you're diversified. And it's the technology companies that just seem to be, and biotech now, because of the quick response in getting the vaccines to market in unprecedented speed. You can see actually these things can go out really, really fast. And they're really, the technology companies are the ones that are really making sure that the stock market carries on going up. And it really shouldn't be as high as it is right now. But there's no way I'm shorting the market, because we've been in the longest bull market in the history of bull markets since 2009. I mean, it's unprecedented. Yeah. So we're talking about 12 years. And the average bull market normally is about 4 years, the average bear market about 2 years. So we're way out of scope. Now, you know what's going to happen if that's the case. When the crash comes, or hell's going to break loose. So, I also make sure that I buy gold. I also make sure that I buy silver. And people say, but I don't have any money. Look, just on a monthly basis, just sneak some away. Just put it away. Don't wait till the end of the financial year and say, you can put £20,000 in your individual savings account. Well, I don't have £20,000 at the end of the year, but every month you could put a little bit away. So just ferret it away. Imagine in nature, going out like a squirrel, and just do that. And over time, oh my goodness, you'll look back and you'll be so glad that you did. 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, you'll be amazed. You'll be rich.
And would you do that? Would you still squirrel money away and spend it, even though if you've got, say, a mortgage? People have got hefty mortgages. Would you run this in parallel rather than pay the mortgage off? Because I guess you have a chance of paying that mortgage off.
So I might say something a little bit, not financial advice and whatever. But if I'm kind of people say pay off your mortgage, but if you have a skill where you can make, let's say the mortgage costs you 5%, 6%, I don't know, on average, sometimes less, sometimes more, but you can make a lot more money elsewhere, a lot more money. I would definitely put that lot more money, I would put it into that. And always obviously pay the minimum, because you don't want to get into some kind of arrears or default or whatever. But you got to learn a skill. You got to learn a skill that makes you more money. And if you focus on that, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's investing in stocks, if it's investing in cryptos, if it's trading. Then, and by the way, I wouldn't say people should start off with trading straight away. They think it's a fast way of making money. But if you don't have rules, it's a fast way to lose money. So investing, but active investing, active. Don't do buy and hold. People, they put it in hold, but that's ridiculous, because what if it's gone up 40% and you don't look at it because you're on buy and hold, and then it's 30%, then 20%, then 10%, then 0, then minus. And at the end of the year, you go, this is rubbish. It's no, you're rubbish because you didn't look at it. It doesn't matter what you do. I think, honestly, perseverance, pig-headedness, whatever it is, if you just focus on it long enough and never quit, you will become very good at it. You will make a lot more money. And it always comes back to, we used to teach these principles at schools, but I realized that what people really need, and by the way, the teachers were the ones listening more than anything, they were taking notes, it was incredible, was they need confidence. Confidence. I want to teach my children confidence in themselves more than anything else, confidence. Because when you have confidence in yourself, especially when you're young, like you've got a 15-year-old, that age, if they knew, we should be passing on all of our knowledge so that they have our knowledge at 15. Now imagine then they build on that, obviously with our help, steering them and whatever. Oh my God. See, I'm into creating and giving intergenerational wealth, not just wealth for myself. I don't need anything. What do I need? I'm a bloke. I don't need anything. What do I need? Food. I need food. That's very important for me. Bed. That's also quite important. But I want to create enough wealth, and I want my children so I want to teach my children to teach their children to teach their children. Yeah. So let me say that one more time. I want to teach my children to teach their children to teach their children. And then I'll have created intergenerational wealth. Otherwise, I'm going to make the money. My children are going to spend it. 2 girls, do the maths. And then by the third generation, it'll be gone, and it all starts again. So I don't want that.
They have to. I guess the danger is if you just hand it over to them. If you can hand it over to a wise mind.
Yes, so you got to build a wise mind.
You've got to build a wise mind, haven't you?
Yeah. By the way, they have no idea they have this money in their account. I'm going to even when they're legally entitled to it at the age of 16, I'm going to reroute the mail system so it comes to me, so that they never find out. Maybe when I'm dead they'll find out, or when they're 60 or something,
I was just thinking that while you were doing it, £300,000. It's I don't need to work. I can mess around. I can say mess around. I'm 28.
but that money is for their education. So if they do decide to go to university, and I don't mind either way, because I studied way too long. So for me, it's just like, nah, get out there, learn, You learn. But okay, if they want to go, yep. Well, if it's 9,000, well, there you go. You pay for it. What do you mean I have to pay for it? Well, you've got money, pay for it. You want a house, pay for it. I'm not going to pay for it.
Yeah.
I've done my stuff. It's you've got to pay for it.
Yeah.
Want to start a business? You got the money, go for it.
Yeah, you've helped them out. I suppose what you've done is you have. Rather than put it in the hands of somebody else, I guess, you have managed that yourself. You've taken the responsibility.
Been there, done that, doesn't work. Sorry, I've done that 3 times. And for me, once doesn't mean anything. Twice, could be a coincidence. 3 times, nope, that's it. That's a pattern. I'm never giving my money to anybody else because you care more about your money than anybody else.
Yeah.
And we've got to learn.
Yeah, others seem to care about their percentage, don't they?
Yeah, of course. The management fee doesn't make them a bad person. It's just that's their job. And so, no. And also, with all due respect, there are people that are amazing and stuff like that. But generally speaking, people say they don't want their accountant to drive up in a Porsche or a Lamborghini. I do. I do. I want my accountant to be wealthy because I'm thinking, well, hold on a moment. Who's giving me advice here? Somebody who doesn't have any money?
Yeah.
Come on. That's not. What is that? That's theory. No, I want them to be wealthy. I like what you said, by the way, at the beginning of the show. I don't know whether it's you or somebody said elevating your businesses and your teams. Elevating. That was something to the show at the beginning. I wrote that down because all of my staff, all of them, invest and trade.
Yeah.
The admin people, the marketing people, the sales people, they all do it, and they are making they love coming in. They love seeing how their account has grown, because for some people that are just starting out, an extra 12,000 a year is insane.
Yeah.
One of my guys there, sadly, mother passed away, and he had a bill of £2,000 for a funeral, and normally. That would be a big, expenditure. No problem. Take it out of the account. It's liquid. That's the thing. It's liquid. You can get at it. In an ISA, it's liquid. You can get at it. In a pension, it's not liquid. But
yeah. I think it's amazing. That's an amazing benefit. You're teaching people life skills, aren't you? Through working with you.
We say often, we lean back, we look at each other, especially when we've had another success story and case study. We kind of say, is there a better job in the world? Is there? I mean, is there? I mean, there must be, I'm sure, but we think we have the best. It's really fulfilling is what it is.
Yeah.
Really fulfilling.
That's brilliant. I see we're coming to the end of the show now. So I wondered, have you got a final message that you'd like to leave us with? And we'll find out a little bit about how people can join in with what you're doing.
I think that finances is just another part of life. It's not this like boogeyman, financing. Everybody leaves it to somebody else. No. Just take control. I had to. I was lucky. I was in pain. I was £100,000 of debt. That's the best thing that ever happened to me. I would recommend it to everybody. Go ahead. Because once you have enough pain, you'll move. But if not, then my message really is that finances is just, it is like a game in the sense that there are rules. And all you need to do is just learn the rules and then follow the rules. And if you do that, you'll be fine.
Yeah, great. And you've got a, profiting from cryptos.com. People can access a free book, which gives them some of the rules, I guess.
Yeah. So that's my book about cryptocurrencies and how I started and, the hundreds of thousands of percent I left on the table by not getting involved. I would encourage people to download that book.
Yeah, excellent. I'm going to download that.
It's free. It's free.
I think I might just download that already. I think. And if people join your club, what do they benefit from?
The club is just all about support. You have an A to Z online course to start off with, but then it's all about the support. But we have meetings online every 2 weeks where we go through what am I getting into and why, and answering any questions. And then during the week, on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they can just jump on with one of my traders and just ask questions. And we have a Telegram group where, we do put the trades of the day on there. We have videos going out all the time. We have meetings. We just so much. We even have a kind of an ICO buyers club as well, which is really cool.